We've seen records of heat being broken in every continent. We've seen extreme weather events that now we have good detection and attribution studies that show us that we're made more intense, more severe due to climate change. In the next 30 years, by mid-century, every single one of the hazards that we're being exposed today will increase enormously. But we have a choice to make. It doesn't need to be that way. We have an opportunity to tackle emissions today, to increase our adaptation efforts, and to ensure that we do not head down that road, which could be catastrophic.
Hello everyone, welcome to Press Insider. My name is Shireen, and today I'm joined by Dr. Marina Romanello, who is the Executive Director at the Lancet Countdown. Thank you so much, Dr. Marina, for speaking to us.
And welcome. Thank you so much for the invitation. What we're seeing throughout our report is that today the climate is 1.14 degrees hotter than pre-industrial times because of human activities. And already at that temperature rise, we're seeing that climate change is impacting on the health of people all around the world through extreme heat event exposure, other extreme weather events, undermining food security, favoring the spread of infectious diseases, and ultimately impacting on our physical and mental health through several interconnected pathways. The main finding with respect to last year, though, has to do with our response. We issued a report last year that the title was Health at the Mercy of Fossil Fuels. And we were warning last year that emissions from fossil fuels would be completely incompatible with a livable future. And what we've seen since then is that oil and gas companies have continued to expand their oil and gas production plants and are now on track to exceeding by 173% the levels compatible with a livable future, which is above the 112 we were expecting last year. Private funders continue to finance oil and gas. Subsidies from governments continue to support their expansion. So the main concern and the main change that we're seeing from last year is, as we say, that we're moving in the wrong direction. But we have a great opportunity with COP28 ahead of us to turn the tide and course correct. It has cost us, in terms of the loss of lives. That's why we say that the harms that we've seen today are irreversible. Because when we talk about climate, you could reverse climate, but you cannot bring back the lives lost. And above all, we're seeing as well that all of these impacts are cascading to our economies. So we're seeing, for example, that our labor productivity is being impaired by exposure to extreme heat. It's very difficult to do physical labor under extreme heat conditions, and that reduces people's labor capacity. We're seeing today that 42% more labor hours are lost than in the 90s. And that has come at an enormous cost in terms of people's wealth, people's income. We estimate over $100 billion were lost in 2022 alone as a result of that labor capacity loss. We've increased and enhanced a couple of our indicators. We have 6 completely new indicators that are now allowing us to understand the influence of climate change on the impacts that we're seeing. For example, one of those indicators is telling us that people were exposed per year in 2022 to 86 days of health-threatening high temperatures on average globally. And that about 60% of those days were made more than 2 times as likely to occur because of climate change. So we're now being able to understand what where the hands of climate change are playing a role in our exposure to health harms. Well, the prospects today are very bleak. We're currently, through our current policies and current actions, headed towards a world that will be 3 degrees hotter by the end of the century. This year, we've done new projections, and we've looked at what a 2-degree world would look like. And we see that already in the next 30 years, by mid-century, every single one of the hazards that we're being exposed today will increase enormously. For example, just looking at heat-related mortality of adults over 65 years of age, we expect that heat-related mortality to increase by 370% unless we take urgent action. We're seeing that more than 500 million more people could become food insecure, not being able to access the food they need to meet their nutritional needs as a result of the increased incidence of heat waves. We're seeing expansion of infectious diseases, more loss in labor capacity, economic impacts across every single one of the domains that we measure. But we have a choice to make. It doesn't need to be that way. We have an opportunity to tackle emissions today, to increase our adaptation efforts, and to ensure that we do not head down that road, which could be catastrophic.